Hello, everybody, especially to all the wrestling fans out there. This is Kenny Cummins here, chilling with Kenny C, right here on TMVCafe.com, bringing you entertainment to your ears. And, I do tend to interview wrestlers from all over the country. But, I have to switch things up because there's a lot of people that contribute to these wrestling shows that we go to and that they help make these shows what they are. And my guest is a man of many jobs, many gigs. He is a ring announcer. He is a commentator for numerous promotions. You see him being featured on IWTV, High Spots. He's worked for numerous promotions in Kentucky, Indiana, Tennessee, including notable promotions like Generation Next Pro Wrestling, which, by the way, he's a Hall of Famer under the old name Primetime Wrestling back in 2020. One of the most hard working men in this business today. And to join me is Mr. Aaron Tiny Rose. How's it going, sir?
Good, man. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it. And thank you for that nice intro.
You're welcome, man. So yeah, I've known Aaron for a very, very long time.
Years, buddy.
Yeah,
Years.
definitely years. I think I know him long before he even start doing the gigs that he does. So, this feels like a long time coming to finally have Mr. Rose on this platform. So I'm glad to have him on, and we'll dive in on your your um your gigs and
Yeah.
what you have on the horizon. Speaking of things on the horizon, I wore this shirt for a reason. Um, this is a New South Wrestling shirt, which was put on the map by Anthony Presley in Mississippi. He moved it to Kentucky, took time off, came back, I think around 2023, I believe,
2022.
or 2022.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
2022. And it went into 2023, took the entire 2024 year off. And then there was a lot of uncertainty as to whether this promotion was coming back again. And then I scroll through the internet, most notably Facebook, and then I see you breaking the news
Yes, sir.
that a fellow promotion has purchased New South Wrestling. Don't have any further details as of right now, but you mentioned prior to me pressing the record button that New South Wrestling holds near and dear to your heart.
It does.
So talk about what does this promotion means to you, and how did it feel for you to break the news that New South is coming back, albeit under different circumstances?
So, when just to kind of put things in perspective on how I got back into the business, because I took a very long time off um, between 2016 and 2021. And in the year 2021, I had my major health scare, and my life was on the line. I was in a medically induced coma, and I I ended up I guess it was after I got out of the hospital and finally was able to start driving on my own again, because I couldn't drive on my own for a long time because I was a fall risk and everything like that. I wasn't able to do anything. So 2021, I go to an OVW event that's being held at the Country Boy Brewery in Georgetown, and I run into Anthony Presley, and he, like, we hadn't seen each other in years, and he looked at me, I looked at him, and we are like, holy crap, look who it is. That was the reaction. Look who it is. So we started talking a little bit, and he told me, he said, he said, I'm thinking about getting New South started again. I said, really? He said, yeah. He said, I've had this feeling that I need to get it going. I want my kids to see what it's like as a wrestling promoter and what that life is like. And, I really want to put some great shows on. And he said, if I bring it back, would you be interested? And I said, well, maybe. I really wasn't sure at that point. Um, and then later on, I go home after the show, and my wife says, "Hey, how's it going?" I said, "It's going pretty good." I said, "You'll never guess who I ran into." And she's like, "Who's that?" And I told her, and she's like, "I don't remember this one." And I said, "Well, he was running 08, 09, 010 up here in Kentucky, and he's interested in bringing New South back." And he said that he wants me to be a part of it. And she said, "Well, why don't you? Why don't you get back into it?" Because I had a long conversation with my dad before he passed away that very same year. He asked me, do you miss wrestling? And I said, I do. And he said, if you get the opportunity, take it. You know, go get back in there and do what you love. And you know, those words, resonated with me for a long time. And then I get a call from him in December, and he said, "We're doing it, and we're starting back in March of 2022." He said, "Do you want in?" I said, "Yes, sir. I want in." So, he said, "We're going to do our first show at the Ice Center." I said, "Okay, that's cool. Let's have some fun with that." And he said, "And here's the main event of the first show." He said, "I'm going to have Larry D versus Billy Gunn for the New South Championship. We're going to bring that title back, and that's going to be our first match for it." I said, "Okay." And then, so my mind automatically, I'm like, "All right, so we got Billy Gunn." And then I'm like, "All right, that's cool. We're probably going to have, that, and probably, good set of matches." And then I finally see the poster, and I'm seeing Billy Gunn. I'm seeing Chelsea Green. I'm seeing Danny Moe. I'm seeing the boys, not Billy Gunn's boys, the Gun Club.
Yeah, the other
I'm seeing,
boys.
yeah, I'm seeing them there. And then I'm seeing a tag team based out of Pittsburgh called the Main Event TME. And, I've seen them, starting to become a big thing at that point. And I was like, man, this is a solid card. And of course, Rikishi was there, and it was awesome. So, um, that those first shows that we had at the Ice Center kind of set the tone of what kind of product you were going to see with New South. Great matches, great talent, big names here and there, and Tony went balls to the wall to start out, and I told myself, I was like, well, if this lasts only a year, man, I had some great matches to call, you know, um, and then we had like, oh, what was it? I think on our third show at the Ice Center, we had Tonka there, and we had Tom Latimer, and then Camille shows up, and you know it was cool because the Camille thing was a very last second thing. We had Lady Frost. I mean, golly, what a lineup for those shows. And um, you know, uh, and man, I loved every single moment of it. And the cool thing too about all that too, that show back with New South wasn't my very first show back. I actually got called at the last second to go ring announce for Generation Next Pro Wrestling. Jack Von Lord Crew, they were on that. Can't remember the card right off. But I mean, that was my first show back, and I was like, that this was the show that kind of get me prepped for New South. And then the New South stuff just took off, and it took off running. And then we had that big show at the Lexington Ice Center, or not Ice Center, sorry, at the National Guard Armory. Had the Jim Chadwick show, and I got to see so many people that I worked with before. Um, and then guys like Bobby Blade showing up there, and who knew at that point that I could get Bobby Blade back into the wrestling business. I'm taking credit for that. Just so you know, I'm the man that got Bobby Blade back into it. So, but I loved every minute of it. And then we got to Lawrenceburg, and that's when like the upstart stuff was starting, and that ended up just being kind of like a New South light for a little bit, but then everything it just turned into New South big stuff at every
Yeah,
show in Lawrenceburg, and not to be, you know, it stinks that they did take 2024 off, and I do miss it. Don't get me wrong, I do miss New South, and I loved a lot of the moments that I had with it, and especially like Booker T. Having Booker T in the house, that was one of the coolest moments ever. And having him back me up into a corner, I
yeah,
wasn't ready for that, but that was cool. So, you know, there were some great moments, and I told myself if I ever get a chance to, you know, if this is it, then it is what it is. There were some great memories had. So, I got to talking to Tony a little bit, and he let me know what his intentions were. And he said it might be time to sell it. And I said, okay, well, you know what you need to do. And he said, yep. And he said, I'm gonna, talk to people and see who's interested, and just kind of get the word out. And sure enough, AMW, Appalachian Mountain Wrestling, comes out of nowhere with the purchase of New South. And the cool thing that AMW is doing right now with New South, since they have the library of matches, they're re-releasing them through the AMW channels. The AMW channel on YouTube is a very, very popular channel. Let me see how many they got right now.
mm,
Let's see here. And
yeah.
by the way, our show is live right now. Um, Showdown is live. Right now they are about 2.5 thousand subscribers right now. So that's not a bad number for a wrestling promotion. And they're taking this opportunity to kind of have some to show some of the New South events going on, and um, there's some clips of Kyle Maggard and Rikishi along with Lemon Juice McGee. We had Matty
Yeah,
Ice Lord crew re-uploaded. Um, so me being able to kind of break that news that AMW bought New South is kind of cool, because I have a heavy involvement in both. Um, for those who don't know, with AMW, I'm the producer, and I do a lot of the technical side of AMW. You don't hear me too much here. Sometimes I'll ring announce, but other times, I'm strictly behind the scenes. It gives me an opportunity to do something different,
yeah,
and I enjoy that. With that opportunity to do something different. It keeps my perspective fresh on the wrestling business. So
yeah,
I do miss New South as an entity in itself, but I have the utmost confidence that AMW will do it justice by owning the library. And of course, if you went to our show, and if you're watching on our Showdown premiere, you might notice the ring. The ring is the New South ring, so it's kind of cool, being able to see that ring in action still. And there's a lot of memories up in there.
yeah. A lot of good memories. That show in 2022 definitely. We ignited my passion. Reignited me. That really got me back to going to shows again. I
Yeah,
guess for some reason I wasn't really going to a lot of shows
hmm
uh for a very long time. I guess that's long after the Georgetown Bingo Hall pretty much
oh yeah.
shut down. And I was
It's that
going to
bingo hall, man.
yeah, like just the thought of it just brings back memories.
Right.
So once the bingo hall shut down, I was going to primetime shows. I went to some OVW shows here and there, but I just wasn't going to a lot of shows.
Right.
Then 2022, and then I found out that New South was coming back. I wasn't there in the early years, but I was definitely there at the Ice Center,
Oh yeah.
and I got to know Tony, um, and I enjoyed it. It was quite the thrill. Um, the Lawrenceburg shows every Sunday, it kind of almost reminded me of the Bing Hall
Yeah.
days
Yep.
because that was just a way to end the weekend for me.
Oh yeah.
And now I'm going to shows all over the tri-state. And if it wasn't for New South relaunching on that year, who knows? You probably wouldn't even see me at a lot of shows right now. But I'm
Well,
glad I'm glad that New South um is back. You know, circumstances are different.
right.
New ownership, obviously. I am familiar with A&W. I've heard good things about the promotion. And I think if anyone that's been walking with New South from the early years all the way to now, and those that was just anxiously awaiting for it to come back, well, we know it's coming back. It's just a matter of when, and we just gotta trust the new ownership that they'll do it justice, and we'll come through once it relaunch under a new era.
Right.
Uh,
I mean, again, it's going to be, you're going to see some New South involvement under the AMW banner. That's what I can pretty much say right now. Will there be separate entities for shows? I don't know. I don't know, but I know the big goal is to preserve the the archives of AM or of New South as well, and to be able to re-release that to a bigger audience. And there's a good opportunity to do that. You know, it the thing about these different companies is everyone brings something different to the table, and New South was one of those that just kind of brought kind of like the big fight feel into Kentucky a little bit more. And, AMW is capitalizing on that right now too. Um, I don't know if you've seen the teasers, but, on May 17th, there's a teaser for somebody DX related
oh
coming
yeah,
coming to AMW. So, that was, that's something to really look forward to. And I believe we might be announcing that. I think we're announcing that in Ironton this upcoming Sunday in Ironton, Ohio.
gotcha.
So we'll be announcing that. So I think, don't hold me to it. Um, but that's big. We're excited for it. You know, and hopefully, again, hopefully we just see the preservation of New South, and we're able to see what happens with some of that New South talent in the future too.
Yeah, so yeah, I have read about something DX related.
Mm-hmm.
So that's definitely to keep an eye on to see who from this Hall of Fame caliber faction will appear at the AMW for their upcoming show in May.
Yep, that'll be May 17th
May
in
7th.
Hazard, Kentucky at the high school.
Gotcha. So check out Appalachian Mountain Wrestling
Mm-hmm.
on social media, Facebook specifically, for more details, and they'll keep you posted on some of the content they have New South related as well. Now, Mr. Rose, so I'm glad we was able to address that because, when I saw you announced it, I was like, yeah. So that's just it's the hope is there. So I'm
Right.
glad I'm glad we got there was some clarity there um for this promotion. Now I feel like I can wear it to AEW show at least. just in case. Keep it
Right.
handy in the
Exactly.
foreseeable future. Uh, so you have been staying pretty busy.
Oh yeah.
You've been traveling as well. You have been on the scene. You've been behind the scenes. You worked with Gen X Elite Wrestling
Hmm.
Alliance.
Hmm.
You also was part of Bullpen Pro Wrestling out there in Southern Indiana,
Right.
a new promotion out there in Kentuckiana area. Um, so let the people know, man, where can they see you in the foreseeable future? What you have on the horizon as far as
Oh
upcoming events?
my goodness, dude. It's busy. So I don't know if you saw earlier, but Bobby Blade posted some of his dates.
Yeah.
And again, I'm taking responsibility for get that man back in there.
Yes. Thank you.
Uh,
Thank you. Thank
um, so March 16th, this upcoming Sunday, is our next big event, and it is another Sunday Showdown taping for AMW. We're gonna be at Ironton, Ohio, at the FTC Art of Grappling Arena. So we have a cool partnership going on with Failure to Conform Wrestling. And of course, the training school there is run by Bobby Blaze, Smoky Mountain legend.
you.
So he's running the training school there, and then that group there's we're excited to be working with them. We're going to see a bunch of FTC stars at that event as well. Then March 22nd, we're back at the Jeannie Rogers Community Center in Danville for EWA. Um, you know, I missed the last EWA event. I was able to do some voiceover work in post production, but it's never the same. Being there live, that's what it's about. So I'm excited to be back with them on March 22nd. And then March 29th, I debut at a newer promotion up in Springfield, Ohio called Armbar Pro Wrestling. Um, that group I am really excited for um, because they're starting to announce their matches for their upcoming show. Uh, let's see here. The Silverback Chris Hall, he's in action, and Chris Hall, you might remember from the Pro Wrestling Freedom days down in Corbin, Kentucky.
Hmm.
He was famous for launching a micro over the top rope onto Kerry Awful and Nick Iggy. But Chris Hall, one heck of a talent. Marion Fontaine, I'm excited for him to be ring announcing for him for the first time because he runs that oldie wrestling promotion up in the Cleveland area. So he's got that good throwback feel, and he's wrestling Dakota Wolf, which we saw at New South, and that's a product of the Northern Wrestling Federation. Love that group up there. Love Roger. Love Chris
Yeah.
Harris. Those guys are awesome. Speaking of that, you're going to have a tag team match featuring four NWF trained wrestlers as Beck Reeves teams with Nick Ultima to take on the bad dudes Jeremiah and Pompano Joe. So I'm pumped for that. Let's see here. Dalton McKenzie's on it.
Yeah.
He's wrestling Prima Donnie, which
Yeah.
I've never seen him in action, but I've heard a lot about him. Uh, and then Big Mama's on the card. Of course, a show with Big Mom is always a fun time because she is one of the hardest working women's wrestlers out there right now. Um, proud to call her a friend. And then Larry D is teaming with Damian Chambers and Judge Joe Dredd to take on the Night Riders, which is Aaron Williams, Dustin Reyes, and Alex Colon. That is going to be an awesome, awesome night. So the building we're in for that is an old church too. So it's going to be neat. The acoustics in that are going to be very interesting. So so that's Armbar Pro. And then in April, we have our 5th anniversary our fourth anniversary show on the 5th
Mhm.
in Cynthiana for Generation Next Pro Wrestling. So I'm assuming I'll see you at that one, Kenny.
I'll see
Maybe.
if I can, maybe. I might have something else planned on that particular day,
Okay.
um, it is wrestling related, so
Oh,
I'm not just, I mean, me not wrestling, but just
right, right.
attending.
Okay.
Uh,
Where are you thinking
but
about going that night?
uh, so you mentioned NWF,
Yeah.
obviously. They got a show on that day.
Okay.
And then it's their women's shows,
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Revolution Rising 4,
Yes.
Grit and Grace, Fairfield, Ohio.
Yes.
Big
Very,
Mama,
very good show to go to.
the aforementioned Big Mama.
Yeah.
Um, she's not only wrestling that night, but she's the promoter, she's the
Right.
booker, bringing in. She got Kali Page from NWA.
Hmm.
She's got Freda Slayer.
Yep.
She's got Selena Dean, who's an alum.
Yeah.
Jillian Hall, who's an alum as well. She's there specifically for a meet and greet, and some homegrown talent.
Absolutely.
Wally Matthews
Yeah.
and others will be there. I've been to every single one since
You can't break
the.
that streak then, man.
So yeah, so I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Gen X, Larry, Max. I love y'all. Speaking of ladies wrestling events, I will be at the ladies' night on May 2nd.
There you go.
So at least that's my way of making up for that. But yeah, check out Aaron, man. He's a hard working man. He's putting in the work. He's doing a lot of good things. I mentioned his accolades. I mentioned his jobs that he do. Um, but he's more than just wrestling. He's into other sports as well. He's a producer for Prep Spin
Yep.
as well, which they have contributed to some wrestling events in the
They have.
past.
Yep. William
So
Warfield, the guy who runs Prep
yeah,
Spin, he's a big wrestling fan. So if he can find a good event to get in on, I mean, he's going
yeah,
to do it. The problem is the man is so busy right now. He
yeah,
Prep Spin is the official media partner of the KHSAA, so they put on all of their tournaments. So
yeah,
uh, this week we're starting the girls Sweet 16 at Rupp Arena. They're gone for a week, and
yeah.
then the boys Sweet 16 the week after that. So a bunch of great basketball coming up at Rupp, and he's the mind behind that. So I've gotten a chance to work a few Sweet 16s. My main job really doesn't allow that now, but it's a great company to view games with, and they really do bring the high school sports to life, and they highlight all these kids. All these kids deserve to be highlighted, and they do it in such a good light too.
Yeah, shout out to Press Spin for everything they've done, um, putting together these events for the kids and for these teenagers just to get the platform.
Hmm.
It makes it feel like they really doing something. It's more than just family and loved ones watching. Worldwide audience can watch these kids play.
And not to
On
mention, he's gotten quite a few. Uh, they've gotten quite a few plays on Sports Center top tens.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
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 yeah. So that's big.
accolades.
That's definitely the biggest accolade for a producer, for anyone, any athlete, young and old. Like if you're in the top 10, you that's a badge of honor. I mean,
Absolutely.
so it's one thing for the big name athletes to get there because they're accustomed to it. But when they show these kids, man, and the parents to see it, that's special.
Yeah.
So I will conclude the interview with this. With you said you want to take the credit for Bobby Blade.
Yes, I do.
Getting back into wrestling, most notably as a commentator.
Yes.
Yeah, so Bobby Blade, everybody knows, especially in Kentucky, what he means to the state, what he means to the wrestling scene,
Yes.
multi-time Hall of Famer, winning championships, big matches,
Hmm.
great mind for the business. So and just to see Bobby, man, in particular, man, it's good. It's very entertaining, and to hear him on commentary, it's
Me,
very yeah.
me and Bobby together, I think is just one. We're one of a kind. We really are. We've said we've had chemistry like Gorilla Monsoon and Bobby the Brain Heenan, or Gorilla and Jesse. That's kind of how we banter back and forth. But I love Bobby to death. I'm so glad that we have been able to do as many shows as we have together, and he's staying busy too, and it doesn't look like it's going to stop
Oh
anytime soon
no.
for us.
I look, he's got this tour, like he mentions his age and stuff, and then he just put out the dates. So look, he loves wrestling, and just when you think, okay, I've wrestled for a long time, I did all I could do there, let me just move on. And then he's found a whole new way to contribute
Yep.
to wrestling. And yeah, I will agree. Yeah, I do have, like, from the content that I've watched, yeah, I definitely have that Monsoon slash Heenan vibes.
Yeah.
He's definitely the Heenan.
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely, absolutely.
he will drive you nuts. He will say outlandish things, and you just trying to keep it together. Oh, and a special shout out to a guy that definitely a lot of people are familiar with on social media, Tripping Balls.
Yes.
I want to give him a shout out. He's like a wrestling encyclopedia, and he's a son of a father. He's a son of a wrestler, I should say.
Yeah.
And I've gotten to know him these past few years, and he's a very good dude, very passionate about wrestling, and he's getting some opportunities himself. It feels like he's the next man up as far as that commentary
Yeah.
realm.
Yeah.
Um, so
He definitely is. He's getting a lot of good opportunities. You know, the he had a one-off opportunity with the Paul Cade event, and I told him, I was like, well, leading up to it, why don't you come do some matches with us at EWA? Kind of get your chops wet and get ready, for that. And it got to a point where, he did that, turned out great. And then he did the Paul Cage show, and then Otis, his hands got full because, for those of you who don't know, Otis, who is our third guy for EWA, we're gonna try to get him back soon, but he works for the UK Sports Network too. So that man stays busy. So ever since he hasn't been able to join us at EWA for a while, Trippin' Balls has been the one to go to be that third man in the booth, and him and Otis both have some Mike Tenay tendencies. They do their research, and they're very good at what they call. And Otis has that more old school feel. Trippin' Balls is that current feel. So
yeah,
big shout outs to both of them for sure. But Trippin' Balls, man, he's doing something wonderful for sure.
yeah, I definitely want to give a shout out to Otis. He's been a mentor to me
Hmm.
as it pertains to the radio DJ side of things. He's a radio DJ. I'm a radio DJ, and I've known him now since 2016.
Yeah, yeah,
And we were nominated. We were both nominees in the radio DJ category for the Lexington Music Awards, and we
Right.
crossed paths afterwards, and we was having we had a good conversation.
Definitely.
He gave me
Definitely.
some good input and things, and we started talking wrestling, and then things just went on from there. So Otis is a very busy man these days. For any chance he can get to be a part of the wrestling show, he'll do it, and he'll do it very well. So while Otis is focusing on his obligations, Tripping Balls has definitely filled the void, and he's doing a really good job. And I tell him that out all the time. So Kentucky wrestling is in good hands with
Yeah.
the talent that the state have, and those behind the scenes, the unsung heroes, as I like to call them. So um, I want to thank you, Aaron, for joining me on this glorious of a pre-spring weather S day.
Oh, it's
Almost,
beautiful, isn't it?
yeah. I'm about to have that Adam Sandler from the Oscars energy with the shorts and everything. So, but thank you, Aaron, for your time. Y'all check out Aaron Rose. Check him out on Facebook. Uh, and if you want to book him for the commentary, ring announcing, producer work, you can get in touch with him on his Facebook fan page. Ring
Absolutely.
announcer Aaron Rose
Hmm.
on Facebook, and and he's looking to get more gigs in, man. Going into the spring, summer, he's ready, man.
Oh,
He's
I'm
ready.
ready to go. I'm ready.
So
I'm ready for everybody.
yeah, so thank you for your time, Aaron. Enjoy your day, enjoy your week, and enjoy the rest of 2025. And now I'll see you when I see you
Oh
next
yeah, we'll see
time.
you at shows, buddy.
All right, man. Take it easy, man.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.